Hello and welcome back. Today, I'm talking about something that almost all of us will face at some point, but almost nobody knows how to talk about. Yes, I am talking about the career gap. If you have ever felt that a career gap is the professional equivalent of a scarlet letter, I think this is your episode. I'm not just going to discuss how to explain it. I'm going to probably turn it into your strongest asset, the career gap. This is about moving from apology to power, from a timeline break to a compelling growth narrative. So let's start by dismantling the myth that a career gap is a rare career-ending anomaly. The data paints a very different picture. A 2025 analysis found that nearly a quarter of job seekers now report a career break of 12 months or more, which is a significant jump from 18% before the pandemic. Career gaps are no longer the exception. They are increasingly the norm. Specifically in the Indian context, in India, the picture is even sharper. For many, especially women, a career gap is not a personal choice, but a structural reality. Recent report highlight that nearly 42% of educated urban women take career breaks in their 30s or 40s, yet only about a quarter manage to return to full-time work. And this is not one report, there are many reports. This is not a story of individual failure, but of a system that is rigid and not built for the human cycle, human life cycle, beg your pardon. Despite the pandemic normalizing employment disruptions and mental health prioritization, the stigma is persistent. A 2026 survey of hiring managers in Singapore, a market with trends that often mirror global and Indian corporate hubs, found that a staggering 63% of employers remain hesitant about candidates who have been unemployed for more than just 3 months. Yes, that's harsh reality. But here is the paradox. At the exact same time, we are in the midst of a skill-first revolution. The Unstopped Talent Report 2026 shows that while hiring budgets are up and 87.8% of HR leaders are actively hiring, the market is selective, not stalled. A degree is no longer a golden ticket, according to me. No more. A majority of students across streams are unplaced, not because jobs are absent. Jobs are very much there, but because the criteria of recruitment selection have changed. Most importantly, for all of you who are watching this video, the report found that 95 to 98% of students believe hiring has already become skills-based. On the employer side, 64% of HR leaders now define premium talent through modern skills rather than traditional pedigree. So the takeaway is profound. If hirers are no longer looking at your past job titles, the space created by a career gap is no longer a disadvantage. It is, I feel, a blank canvas to paint your skills. Well, This brings us to the core of today's discussion. How do you actually reframe this narrative? It requires a deliberate mental and linguistic shift, undoubtedly. First, based on my research, how to reframe the narrative. Change the frame itself. Your internal monologue must change first. Do not view the gap as missing out time. View it as project time. Yes, project time. Think of your gap not as time off, but as an unfunded sabbatical or a self-directed consultancy. This isn't wordplay. It is a cognitive reframe rooted in what psychologists call a growth mindset. Whereas probably you see a stressor not as a threat, but as a challenge that builds resilience. Second, how to reframe the narrative. Tell a three-part narrative. Narrative within a narrative. When asked, do not apologize. Apologizing, signals shame. Instead, follow this forward-leaning three-part structure, which I read about and I got really convinced about it. Part 1, context and pivot. Briefly state the period and pivot immediately to the action you took. Example, if asked about the career gap, say that during my sabbatical in 2025, I focused on 2 high-value initiatives, such as blah, blah, blah. Part 2, the value proposition. Detail the initiatives. Did you upskill in AI tools? Share that. Complete a data analytics certification. Manage a complex caregiving situation that required operational rigor and crisis management. These are not time wasters. They are proof of adaptability and focus. Part 3 of how to negotiate with career gap. The benefit. Tie these initiatives directly to the value you bring to the employer. This is the crucial close. Example, if asked, say I did not return with stale skills. I returned with leading edge expertise and the strategic clarity to hit the ground running. That's how you need to respond with confidence. Back to the narrative discussion, we are, I think, on the third point. We did first, second, and the 3 parts of the second point, and now we are on the third point. What is that? That's normalize everything and show receipts of that normalization. Employers are not concerned that you had a gap. They are concerned with what you have been doing since. Have you been just sitting idle? Recent training certifications you can show, or skills development, which are now decisive factors. Over 76% of hiring managers say these are essential when evaluating applicants, all these certifications. So if you have taken a course or completed any project during your break, I think you should flaunt it. Show the receipts, show the certificates, write it down. Evidence of continued learning is the ultimate de-risker. That hedges the risk. So as we wrap it, I want to leave you with a thought. The battle for the future of work is no longer about location. It's about control over time. Control over time. The demand for schedule control and work-life balance is now a primary driver of job satisfaction, even overtaking salary for many. That's decisive now. So in that context, a candidate who has taken a deliberate break, upskilled, recharged, and is now returning with clarity and focus is not a risk. That is a strategic asset. That is someone who knows their value and won't burn out in 6 months. So, my advice is, and which is very firmly, that stop apologizing for your timeline. Your career gap is not some kind of a hole in your story. It's the chapter with a lot of content where you learned to fly. So go and own it. Thank you so much. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends, family, and acquaintances, whoever is there in your circle, who you think are struggling to negotiate with career gaps. I'll see you in the next one with another set of interesting discussion. Until then, goodbye, good luck, and of course, God bless.